There's an arrow at the bottom. Why would you do that?
Embalming across the United Kingdom is dying. Traditions change and evolve, and no fraction of the funeral industry is safe. The rise of direct cremations post-COVID has impacted businesses across the land. Profits, despite the number of funerals, are down, and changes will be made. We have already seen a large number of embalmers hit with redundancy due to this. If direct cremations continue to rise as projected, funeral directors and conductors' positions will be next on the redundancy hit list, as funeral homes and businesses will need to keep down costs of running the business, closely followed by the funeral arranger position. As with no need for chapel visits or a funeral service, this reduces the funeral to nothing more than a man-in-a-van job, treating loved ones like an Amazon delivery packaged in a coffin and transported from a mortuary holding facility to a crematorium, these being mostly arranged via prepaid funeral plans or arranged online, reducing the number of funeral homes needed in many areas, causing a massacre to the funeral arranger positions, as companies will save on overheads such as the costs of wages and building costs, etc. This all sounds very money-orientated, but let's remember, funeral homes are business, and like any service has costs and overheads. The cost of living crisis grows, and understandably, direct cremations are more popular, especially with the never-ending promotion of the service through the media. It is understandable that people turn to direct cremations. The media manipulates people into thinking that when they die, they are a burden to those left behind, and convinces people this is a simple no-fuss funeral. But while this is a no-fuss funeral, let's focus on those left behind. The person that passed away should not be treated or thought of as a burden. They are still a person, a mother, father, son, daughter, grandparent, friend, and so on. The funeral, as a result of direct cremations rising, and the cost of living crisis affecting everyone, is causing the funeral industry to implode as prices rise on cost of materials, such as timber for coffins, embalming chemicals, utility bills, fuel costs, all increasing, while the profit margin per funeral is reducing due to the reduction of services, such as limousines, embalming, professional service cost at reduced rates, etc. due to direct cremations.
Direct cremations are a great, cost-effective funeral option. However, this is having long-term impacts on families later on down the line, as it does not allow for closure, a simple last goodbye, farewell, and so on to help them with their grieving process, affecting many individuals' mental health. On top of that, the deceased does not get the option for a superior level of care that embalming provides.
So how can embalming help? Well, it can't where direct cremations are concerned, but ultimately we all want what is best for our clients, and those we are called upon to serve, therefore on the traditional funeral services we provide. Embalming should be promoted. Now I am aware that embalming is offered as an option, but in many areas it has been highlighted that cutting out embalming saves money, and is not necessary. And while embalming is an option and not a requirement, this attitude has to change, as yes, saving money on anything is good, but not having embalming for this reason is bad advice, as embalming enhances and massively improves the viewing experience in chapel, allowing more time with loved ones to grieve. Promoting the embalming service not only protects the embalmer's position but also preserves the need for funeral arrangers and conductors, as without the need for chapel visits and other services, all of our jobs are at risk. So how else does embalming help? Embalming preserves the dignity and respect for the deceased, affording a superior level of care and peace of mind to our clients that their loved one has been cared for in the best possible ways. This should be explained when a family chooses not to have embalming, especially if they wish not to view, along with the fact that it allows for them or any other family or friends to change their mind and view the deceased at any time. Realistically, as soon as we know that the family wish to view their loved ones, we should advising that we strongly advise embalming, and it is needed in order to give them the best experience when visiting their loved one in chapel, as it respectfully give the deceased a higher personalized level of care, maintaining their dignity right up until the day of the funeral. Anyone not promoting the embalming service are doing a great disservice to everyone, including the deceased, our clients, colleagues, and the funeral industry as a whole. Embalming has been around in many forms since ancient Egypt times, and is now on the downslide. If this continues, it is highly likely that your embalmer will be disposed of, and then there will be no qualified personnel to care for the deceased to a higher quality of standards. And when times comes to prepare a difficult funeral, or prepare a decomposing body, or take away the look of resulting illnesses, ultimately the families suffer, and there will be nobody to call upon to help. Ultimately, when it comes to embalmers, it is more a case of use them or lose them. And without them, the quality of the service we provide drastically decreases, and when the standards have fallen, the value will drop, pushing people more and more towards direct cremations, the beginning of the end of the traditional funeral services. Once embalmers are gone, soon, following will be directors and arrangers, to the growing impact of technology through the internet. This is not just a video begging for embalming to be promoted. Fact is, it should be anyway, especially if we truly care about those we serve, both dead and alive. As funeral industry workers, we need to adapt and support each other by doing the basics well and advising our clients what best suits their needs. We are not selling a funeral or embalming pack. We are are providing a service and advising them what is best for them at their time of need, despite our own personal thoughts and opinions. Funerals are very much for the living, honoring the deceased, knowing they had the best possible care during their time in our care up to and through the funeral service should provide a source of comfort, support, and compassion.
This man, the Grim Reaper. Don't worry, I haven't gone mad. It only looks like there's no one there. In fact, you won't be able to see the Grim Reaper at home unless you're going to die within the next 24 hours.